Hi everybody, it is time for another bullet journal setup. This is going to be for the month of June 2022. It'll be the halfway point of the year when I'm done with this month. And like I said before, my bullet journal is not really a bullet journal. It's kind of just a journal that I make lists in. But it's working out. Like, I am using it. And here's my one little word. I'm filming this mid-month, so I'm not quite there, but I have been using it. But it seems like taking the pressure off of what I want to get done in my bullet journal is actually making it a little easier for me to use. So if you are having any sort of trouble with like a situation like this where you are trying to keep up with something but it's not working, try simplifying. It's working for me. Let's talk about supplies. This is my passion journal. I've been using it all year. I'm going to continue to use it. It is in the B5, like the larger size. I will be using a blend of Pitt Artist pens today. I've got a handful of the different like regular fine liners and brush pens and to do all of like the drawing and the doodling with. So I've got those, but then I also have my color palette is all Pitt Artist pens as well. And we'll talk more about the color palette in a few minutes. I have my little self-healing cutting mat that I love using for this because it is I have a gigantic one, but this is a smaller one that's a little easier to use. And I'm going to give my slice tool a try. I've only used it for cutting stickers so far. This I learned about from Julie's Plans. It is a ceramic blade, which it's easier for me to hold because it's a little bit more shaped like a pencil. And I've found that it works real well for cutting stickers, but I have not tried it with paper, so we will see. I've already traced a circle here using my paint water cup that has water in it currently because I'm also in the process of painting a new series of paintings, and so it's we'll see how it goes. So it's my cutting tool. Other than that, if I use any other pens, it'll probably just be my Pentel Energel RTX 07, which is my current favorite writing pen, but I don't imagine I might need anything besides that. I've also got my handy whiteout off to the side. So let's talk about my theme for the month. If you have not been following along, every month I have a flower that I utilize as like my motif throughout the month. And then I have a band, which is one of my favorite bands that I pull quotes from for song lyrics for quotes. I've been wanting to pick this band anyway because I love it, but I thought, why not for Pride Month? So that's what I'm doing. It is Queen. And then as for the flower, this is kind of a funny story. One of the things that I do with my patrons is they get to vote on what flower I use or what theme I use in my bullet journal, and I give them an assortment of choices, usually 4 per month, and they can vote on them. And I'll be happy with any of them. Like, I don't pick them unless I'll be happy with them. But what winds up happening sometimes is there are certain underdogs that just never wind up being picked. So a couple of months ago, I put tulips into I think it was April, maybe, that I put tulips into the running, and people were like, tulips should come, but first we want to do cherry blossoms. And then tulips would come, but anemone sounds awesome. And so this month I was like, the team tulips was basically like getting like, if I was them, I'd be annoyed. So finally this month they won. There were people who were like, I really want this other one, but tulips, man, tulips. That's what we're going with, is tulips for the month of June. And no, I did not pick it. It won by a huge margin, probably because people were so over waiting for them. I'm not going to go into very much updating on my bucket list, even though I actually do have some updates. That video will be coming in, I want to say July. I'm going to be updating on my bucket list, but things have actually been going fairly okay. So I've already, like I said, I've given myself a couple more pages to get through for May, and I am going to get started. So the last couple of months, I've done this thing where I've had like a picture and then the colors of the month and the title of the month going through these like little kind of photo sort of centric things. What I want to do here is have the tulips come up through the circle and then have the month and the color palette up here. So I'm going to cut the circle out first and we shall see how this goes. I'm not using the cup as like a guide, both because I've already traced the circle. There's a point where it comes out janky, so I don't want that to happen with the knife, but also there's water in my paint cup. So we're just going to go very slowly. I will say this slice tool is a lot easier for me to control. I think in part the blade is smaller, so I'm not quite as like horrified by the... I mean, if it cuts me, it's still going to cut me. Like ceramic does not mean impervious to, like skin is impervious, but what it is allowing for is more control, and I feel like a little bit more confidence. Of course, I could be full of absolute garbo right now. That's entirely certain. But look at that. A relatively clean cut. Relatively. It's okay. There's no awards for the finest cut. I mean, there might be in like some kind of crafty fucking competition or something, but that's not this. That is not what we are doing today. Anyway, so there is the circle. I'm going to hang on to that because if there's anything I have learned, it's that your paper scraps come in handy when you are not the most coordinated in the world. That did work really well though. And I'm happy with that. Let me see. I hadn't even thought about what I was going to do for a font. That's not exactly, my spacing is not the perfectness here, but fucking whatever. I don't care all that much. I mean, I guess maybe I do care all that much, but maybe not. So I'm just going to go in and throw in my colors here. Now, tulips can come in a whole bunch of different colors, right? But I wanted to have just some bright, like when I picked them, I was feeling like, oh, this is kind of springtime. But now I'm actually feeling like, no, maybe this actually worked out coming into like early summer because these also have a very kind of summery flavor to them. So like these magentas and such. So I decided to go with that instead. And my spacing with this is not working out either. I am just, thankfully, I guess, almost everything else I have to draw in here is like all the like boxes and shit are all already spaced out. So maybe I won't need to worry too much. And I'm going to grab just this medium tip and add a drop shadow onto each of these and just make a little high mark right here to kind of give me the idea of both the center of the circle and the top of kind of where I want the flower to be. That way I'm not too like off kilter because I'm already proving that that is the thing that's happening right now. All right, I'm trying to decide if I want to color this. I kind of don't want to. I kind of like how it looks on its own. And I like adding the really thick outline on it. So I think I'll leave it color free. But when we open it, we'll add a burst of color up here because I'm going to add some Queen lyrics. And I decided there could be so many lyrics from Queen, right? Like I love Queen. And one of my favorite songs from Queen is The Show Must Go On. And I was going to pick lyrics from that, but it felt a little depressing. The lyrics, when you read them, like they read without the, I mean, even the song itself has like a very like bittersweet, almost like melancholy tone to it. So the lyrics read that way. I thought about doing Somebody to Love, but again, that even though I love that song, it's probably my favorite Queen song. It just, the lyrics weren't working for me. So I decided to dig into the first Queen song I ever fell in love with. I mean, I had heard We Are the Champions and all that before, but the song that I really fell in love with as a kid. So in 1992, Wayne's World came out in theaters, and my parents, in all of their wisdom, took my sisters and I to see a double feature in the theater of Wayne's World and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, which sums up my parents right there in like a nutshell. I will never, ever, ever be able to repay them for the glory of both their Trekkiness and, I mean, for so many things, but also their introducing me to Wayne's World, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And the scene with them singing Bohemian Rhapsody, my sisters and I and my parents' friends' kids, well, they were having like a parent-friend party. The kids were all in the basement. We were all singing like Helen Reddy songs and shit on their karaoke machine. But then when the parents were coming down, we decided to set up 5 chairs and recreate that scene. And I got to be Garth because Garth is the fucking best. So yeah, I decided for all of the lyrics I'm going to use in this setup, I will be pulling from Bohemian Rhapsody. A little Bohemian Rhapsody, gentlemen. Absolutely. And so for this page, I'm going to go with the iconic opening words of of Bohemian Rhapsody, the words that I've seen it on Reddit, I've participated in it on Facebook in Planners Gone Wild. If somebody says, is this real life? You pop right in with, is this just fantasy? And then it turns into a Bohemian Rhapsody quote-a-thon. So that is what I'm going to go with. So I decided to add this kind of the chorally kind of outline because I think it pulls it together. But is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. The next spread is going to be my Project Stash Down tracker and my Magnificent Century Season 3 tracker. So we did not do a Season 3 tracker in May. And my Project Stash Down tracker for May is still going. I actually filled it in wrong. I put the wrong categories, which we'll talk about in a second. I didn't do Magnificent Century in May, both because the one little word practice took up this page, but also I was still in the middle of season 2, which is right here, and I have now finished that. But I took a break for a couple of weeks because 63 episodes, hour and 45 minutes each at least. The season finale was like 2 hours plus. It's a lot of hours of Turkish TV. And I needed to step away for a few weeks. Could speak in Turkish fluently, which I still feel like I can. Also, the final episode of season 2 was so satisfying that I needed to step away knowing that shit was just going to keep getting darker and darker. And I wanted, my husband and I refer to things like that as the mega happy ending. Like in Selena, we turn it off after she's had her concert in San Antonio because that's the mega happy ending, right? And I guess that's a great reference because the mega happy ending name comes from the end of Wayne's World. What is another example of the mega happy ending that we ended at? There's multiple of them, like where you decide, okay, I'm cutting it off here. I don't want to see the sad real ending. And so with Magnificent Century, I'm pretty sure that season 2 ending is the mega happy ending. So I wanted to take a break, but I'm ready to get back into it. And I'm only putting season 3 because when I started that tracker in April, I was almost all the way through. I think was I all the way through season 2? No, I think I was season 1. I was like right at the end of season 1, maybe the very beginning of season 2. And so like it took me 2 months to get through that tracker. So I'm only doing 1 and we'll see how long it takes me. But we're going to get to that in a minute. First, we're going to do the Project Stash Down. Now, like I said in May, I filled it in wrong. I had this planner stationery category and the makeup category, and I'd given myself more space in the planner stationery category because I had more items there. If you don't know what Project Stash Down is, I'll leave the May video linked down below. When I started the whole thing, Makeup and Beauty was the first category I started with because that was like where I got the idea, the Project Pan community. And so even though planner and stationery supplies is my biggest category, I should have reversed them. Anyway, I filled it in wrong. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do one Project Stash Down box and I'll just make a list of all of them. It'll still probably be broken up in a very similar way. A couple of books, majority planner shit. But this way I don't have to worry about putting things in wrong because there won't be a way to put them in wrong unless I put them in like the wrong order, like or something, but whatever. Anyway, so I am going to draw that in first. But first I'm going to take the paler colors and I'm going to alternate those colors on the lines. I haven't put any of the quote down yet, mainly because I want to wait till I'm done with this side because the quote I'm going to use on this page is the very end of Bohemian Rhapsody. Nothing really matters to me anyway the wind blows, and I think I'll put some here, and I got to figure out where else the rest is going to go. So before I get to that, what I'm going to do is fill in the boxes, and I'm just going to make the boxes single boxes with no color because the color, like I did here, will get filled in as I color it in. I'm sitting here staring at this thing for like 2 minutes. Why did I only get to 101 episodes when it should be 103 episodes and it's the correct amount of squares? And then I realized I fucked up. 88, 89, 90, 91, 90, 91, 92. Motherfucker. And so not only do I have to fix this, I was hoping to get out of this entire situation without using whiteout. Fucking, I knew it. 91, 92, 93, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be fun when I color this in. But that's okay. That's probably like 4 months from now, Cindy's problem. Shit. Oh my God. And my artist pens really don't want to write on this whiteout. Looks a little janky, but we're just going to make it work. I love this font. P.S. Do I want to write the whole word Magnificent Century out in that font? Yes. I'm not going to enjoy it. It might make me unhappy, but I'm going to do it. All right, I decided to just do Any Way the Wind Blows rather than the whole Nothing Really Matters to Me, because it's not true. Things do matter to me, including both Project Stashdown and Magnificent Century, but Any Way the Wind Blows is like, if I use the trackers, I do, and if I don't, I don't. So here is my June setup. We start off with the cover page, the slightly off-kilter cover page, but I love this page. Like, this page is right what I want it to be. This one's just a little wonk, but I'm cool with that. And then we have my Project Stashdown tracker and Magnificent Century situation. I'm excited because we're about to, this is the 6th month of the year. So there are 209 pages and I'm at 119 pages. So I am more than halfway done with it, but I also have left some blank pages in my wake thinking I was going to use them. So I still think I'm on track to only have one notebook this year, but we shall see. Stay tuned for that. I will be updating you in the month of July on my 2022 bucket list, as well as how my planner system has been going for the whole year so far. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. And in the meantime, I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite Queen song? And if you don't have one, get on your fucking favorite music app and find one. Seriously. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, friends, peace.